Welcome to Geordie Lass Doc Sass. One day, a Geordie and a Canadian walk into a bar and decide to start a podcast about relationships, and what a topic that is. No subjects are off limits. Get in touch today with us at geordielass.com or email info@geordielass.com and let us know what you think and what we should talk about. Welcome to the podcast.
Hello, welcome everyone. Welcome,
Hello.
welcome. How's it vibing?
Hello to my beautiful Anna there. You're looking very sensational today.
Aren't I looking so Greek? No, just because I've been here for 4 weeks doesn't mean that I'm just like Greek is going to start rubbing off on me.
You've definitely got an aura about you today.
Don't I though? That's awesome. I don't really know any more words really than I did when I came, but I'm actually starting, I take a real liking to learning to read languages that really make sense. So like Hindi, Greek makes perfect sense because the letters, everything, unlike English, which is a terribly messy language to learn because nothing is phonetic, Greek is fantastic. So I've been learning to like read, except I don't know what the words mean, but I can pronounce them. I'm starting to be able to pronounce them a bit better. So
very good.
I walk around town just like reading bus signs and stuff like that. Yeah.
Impressive. I think it's always easier to learn a language when you're in the country. It's got to be, right? You're surrounded by it the whole time.
Absolutely. And then it's like everything with a bit of an accent and you're like, you can. And especially I've been learning from a lot of bars and taverns. Like I've been doing a lot of eating and drinking, like a lot.
It's got to be done. Got to be done.
Oh my gosh. What an insane time. How are things going on your side of the pond or
things are good.
Your side of the sea?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we're good. We've had some sunshine and just starts to feel a bit more spring-like, which always makes you feel better. You can get out and about, enjoy, had some nice, lovely country lane walks and some nice scrummy food. Oh, yeah.
That
all
sounds
the things
fantastic.
that put a smile on my face.
Oh, beautiful. I know. Summer dresses just around the corner. Not really.
Well, I know, but you can kind of hope, can't you?
You can hope. Absolutely. So what's shaking on at the relationship desk of love?
I've got a little treat for you today and hopefully for our listeners.
I love treats.
Okay, so this week is Valentine's week that we are recording. So the show will go out after Valentine's. And so we'd like to wish all of our lovely listeners a happy Valentine's Day from us at Geordie Lass Doc Sass.
We're the lovebirds in your ear every week. Happy Valentine's Day.
So in preparation for that, I'm going to help you out a bit, especially as you're now in dating territory.
Hello. Yep.
And I would like to know, would you like to know what your lust language is?
Oh, yes. Please.
All right. We are going to do a live on air quiz. Anna has no idea what's coming.
I don't. Oh my gosh, I'm so thrilled. Yes.
All right. I'm going to ask you some questions. Quick fire, answer them, and then I'll tell you what your lust language is.
Oh, okay.
Are you ready?
Yep.
Okay, let's go. Number 1, how do you feel about first dates? Either love them, are you kidding? Or they're not my favourite, honestly.
Love them.
Right.
Love them.
Okay. What's your ideal Valentine's Day gift? Is it lacy lingerie? I think I already know the answer to this. A romantic dinner out, a sweet love letter, or being relieved of your laundry duties for a week?
Oh, definitely the lingerie. And if anybody's asking, a Jean Provocateur is kind of like my favorite. Yeah. Hello. I think you knew that one.
I did know it. I knew that straight away.
Yeah.
Okay. You feel happiest with your partner when you're working towards a common goal, you're just hanging out together, you're getting it on, wink, wink. Or you're talking about how much you love each other.
Oh my God, getting it on. Like, yeah.
I think I could have probably answered this quiz for you.
It's the connection. Yeah, totally.
Thoughts on sex, as in text, sex. Is it absolutely or not really your thing?
Up until a few weeks ago, I was like, not really my thing because I didn't have practice. But, the opportunity has knocked on the door. And I'm not only do I like it, but I think I'm good at it. So definitely. Yeah. You're good at the things you practice. New skills. Totally, man.
So we're going for
Dan Savage.
Absolutely?
Oh, definitely.
Okay.
Can I just tell you for Valentine's Day, Dan Savage's advice on how to talk dirty it goes like this. Just simply tell them what you're about to do, what you're doing, and what you just did. And that's dirty talk.
What?
I'm going to play with your nipples. I'm playing with your nipples. And I just played with your nipples. Dirty talk. I'm learning new skills.
Again, lusty lessons as well as lusty languages.
Shout out to Dan Savage. Absolutely.
All right. You've thrown me off my quiz now, Anna.
Oh my gosh, so sorry.
All right, next one. So pick a celebrity couple. Would it be Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck? Would it be Chrissy Teigen and John Legend? Would it be Megan Fox and Machine Gun Kelly? Or would it be Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds?
Oh. Weirdly, actually, I'm going to go with J-Lo and Ben Affleck. It sounds weird. It's so weird, but like Ryan Reynolds and Canadian boy, woo woo, shout out. But like, I feel like their relationship is just like so good. I'm like, I can't even get to that stratosphere. Like, it's just crazy how perfectly in love they are. So I'm like, I don't even understand it. So how could I'm going to go with J-Lo and Ben Affleck, a bit more flawed and down to earth. I can vibe with that a bit better.
I had to take your first answer because I'm already on the results now.
Oh my God. Oh, sorry. Okay. Results. Let's go.
Okay. This will not surprise you. It will not surprise our listeners. So your lust language is primal.
Oh my God, that's amazing. That should be my middle name.
So it says your lust language prefers passion, excitement and novelty, and strong physical connection is a must. This type might also be into kinks and fetishes, but not necessarily. One thing that is necessary though is physical contact, as primal types feel most aroused by touching their partner's body. Basically, an emotional connection is not needed for a good time, but can absolutely be present in tandem.
Who are these people?
We could have written that profile for you. Seriously.
How do they know this? That's crazy. Sara, oh my God. I feel like this is my Tinder profile right there. Emotional connection is nice, but not necessary. Not completely. It's a nice to have, but not a need to have. Oh my God, I love it. Oh, Sara, I feel so warmed up for Valentine's Day. Watch out. Primal, I feel like a cougar on the move. I pity the person who has to see me on Valentine's Day. Oh my God. They have no idea. Wow, wonderful. So wait, did you do yours? And do you know what
So I did do mine, and I can't remember what it was now. I think I didn't agree with mine. I think it said romantic, and I don't actually think I'm that romantic. So I think I was a little bit surprised by mine.
Oh, did you think you were primal as well? Because
I didn't know what they were actually. No? I didn't know what the four lust languages were until I took the test. But I can tell you what they are. Oh. So it is romantic is one of them. Harmonious, connected, and primal.
Oh my God! What do you identify with? What feels?
I'd say more connected. I think that I know things are in trouble when I don't feel connected from my partner.
Very nice.
So yeah, and I don't think I'm that romantic. I probably shouldn't be admitting this like the day before Valentine's Day.
But connected is romantic, though.
Yeah, it's just on a different level, isn't it? So I'm more of a head person than heart, so sorry.
Oh, isn't this interesting? Oh my gosh, I love it. Oh, I love it. This was fantastic. Sara, you put a bounce in my step today. Thank you.
I just can't get over how accurate that profile is for you.
Oh my God, it's really... And you know what? Like, I've spent years of my life, like, trying to downplay or deny that is me until my mom, she was like, oh my God, you've always been like that. Like, since you were a kid. I was like, what? Why have I spent 40 years trying to, anyways, now flying my flag proud. Yep. Primal it is.
How great is it to just find out more about yourself and never stop being surprised about who you are?
Oh,
it's great.
It's amazing. This ride of life,
we say
Sara.
That all the time about partners, right? Like how lovely it is to be kind of surprised by something that you didn't know about them, but it's equally as lovely and if not more intense when you find out something about yourself.
Oh my gosh. Because I'm falling in love with myself every day.
That's good. You should do. You are a beautiful human being, and why shouldn't you be loved?
You know what? And we all are. And that's the amazing thing. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Came up this week quite strongly with a client of mine around self-acceptance. And immediately the conversation went to, well, I could probably accept myself if I did, and the list kind of, and I said, but self-acceptance means you accept yourself for who you are today without anything else being added on top.
Oh, what a beautiful. Let that sit for a sec.
Yeah. So, yeah, anyway, I'm going to say no more about that.
Oh, beautiful. Oh my gosh.
I'll let you all sit with that thought.
That sounds amazing. Keeping us wanting more, Sarah.
All right. Well, that kind of slides us in nicely to our topic. Are you ready for one?
I love sliding in nicely to anything. So let's go. Living up to my primal.
I don't think I can record this podcast today.
I'm sorry, am I being so distracted?
I'm going to keep us back on track. Right.
Okay,
topic
good.
time.
Okay, good.
Today's hot topic. Be aware of shrinking in your relationship.
Ah, okay.
It kind of fits with that whole self-acceptance thing. So if you accept who you are and you can present that to the world, then hopefully that will be something that will stop you from shrinking in your relationship.
Wow. And what a choice of word, shrinking, right? Like, and none of us realize, like, this is not spoken about very often. So tell me about what comes up for you when you hear like shrinking. What does this mean?
So my initial thought was actually my grandma, because she was just quite little. And that tends to be what happens when you get kind of a bit older, don't they? They say that we all naturally kind of shrink, and we're all kind of, and I think that kind of older generation, like we naturally as human beings are growing kind of taller, and I look at my kids who are like, both much taller than I am.
Oh, wow.
So naturally as human beings we're getting kind of larger, aren't we? But what we're talking about here is more about kind of who you are as a person, your spirit, your innermost workings, the things that you enjoy doing, the things that you take pleasure from in life, and being able to share your thoughts and opinions with other people. So as soon as we start to take that away from anybody, then you end up more of this kind of silenced and just lose kind of sight of who you are when we're not able to express ourselves fully. So that's what comes to mind for me. What about you?
Yeah. Well, I think we are all very surprised that this could even happen because of the way we start out in relationships. It's so great. I feel so great. This one is different. I feel so loved. They're so nice to me. So this really creeps on very insidiously, right?
Yeah.
Like nobody offers us at the beginning of our relationship, you're probably going to about shrink like 5 inches between now and the time you get to 2 years from now, and you'll have less interests and you'll have less things that bring you joy, and your world will be smaller. Like nobody would sign up for that if that was like told to them in advance. Yeah.
There's something about, kind of like opening the pantry door, opening the fridge door, and still being able to recognise both of you in there. It's something as simple as the choices that we make on a daily basis. So, it's not to say that we can't be introduced to new things through our partnerships and the people that we choose to spend time with. They can introduce to new things that we never thought that we would like or enjoy. So, if we stick with the food analogy, they can introduce us to new tastes, flavours, different ingredients, and that's lovely. As long as we're taking those on board, because they're things that we genuinely are enjoying too. But if they're not, if we're saying I'm going to park all of my kind of needs and desires and the things that I like in life because we're going to follow the path that you like, or the dishes that you like to create, then we're silencing who we are.
Yeah. So does this happen just in abusive relationships, or does it happen in non-abusive, air quotes, healthy relationships?
No, I think it can happen in any relationship. I think and I don't even think it's just necessarily kind of people pleasers that it can happen to. I think, you know, you get this kind of stereotypical view, don't you, that a lot of men are kind of like, oh, that saying happy wife, happy life. And it's easier just to say yes. And I mean, we hear it all the time when people are kind of cracking a joke. It's like, yeah, like, you know, you tell me what my answer's supposed to be as opposed to. But if that really is the case in your relationship and you're not providing your own thoughts and views and sharing who you are, then that isn't a great relationship. Eventually, it's going to get on your nerves. Eventually, you're going to kind of wake up one day and go, how did we get here? Like, this isn't what I signed up for. Why? Or you might not even realize that you're there. You might just feel a real kind of disharmony, you know, disconnection, unhappiness, and not really be able to place it. So, you know, that could be one area to really explore is, have I actually lost sight of who I am in this relationship? Yeah. Do I no longer exist as a person in my own right? Am I just now part of a kind of we and not, there's no I left. There's nothing of me left.
You know, and so it comes up, and it comes up with my clients too. I'm sure you see it as well, is that there's a beef of, you're not good enough. You do this. You don't fill my emotional needs. Like, you start picking fights with each other, and so it becomes about the thing. But if you actually roll things back, you realize that if these two people were actually better differentiated, if they had their own individual I and the things that made them, then they wouldn't start picking fights with each other, which sounds really reductive and dismissive. But to say that it's the same as like a job. Oftentimes, chapters in our lives naturally close and it's on for a new adventure, but we've not been raised with this idea to leave things because it's time. We've been raised with this belief that we should leave things because they're bad and move on to something good. But we can actually create bad, not because it is bad, but because we are feeling restless and it's time. So yeah, picking fights, or if there's discord, just like you say, discord is often like a deeper question of what turns you on in life, by life. How are you turned on by life? What do you like to do? Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
If you had an extra hour in your day, what would you love? Well, I don't want what I have now. Okay, well, tell me about what you would like.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
That means you've shrunk in your relationship.
Yeah. A lot of people don't feel connected to who they are as people though as well. So that can be really, really difficult. We're so focused on external validation, on external things that, you know, maybe or looking to others to kind of make us happy, rather than actually turning the tables internally to say, actually, what's going to make me happy? What are the things that I enjoy doing? And we can often get this situation in relationships where we don't even think of ourselves as an individual anymore. We think of ourselves as a couple, and it's like, well, what do we enjoy doing as a couple? As opposed to, you know, I can still enjoy spending time with my partner doing this whole list of things, but I also can enjoy spending time on my own doing this other list of things. And these are the things that will bring me happiness. These are the things that will bring me joy. And these are the things that I'd also like to bring to the relationship.
Yeah. Oh God. You know, it was pointed out to me recently that I form relationships in kind of a ass backward kind of way, like a lot of us do. And I realized that the reason why I was poorly differentiated in my marriage is because I went from like, just met somebody, circle C, kind of like they're in your outer circle. You're an acquaintance. You just met them. You super like them. But I have this thing of like, well, I've just met you. Now I want to spend all my time with you. I never want to be alone, and I want to get married immediately. So I zip them right into my inner circle way too fast. Yeah. It's kind of like the kid in grade 1 who's like, oh, you're awesome. I want to be your friend and I want to do everything with you. And the other kid's like, oh my God, you're so clingy. No, I don't want to play with you because you're weird. So that's what happens to me is I zip right from circle C right up to circle A, bring them into my like inner sanctum. And then I just lose myself. And so what I'm learning to do is pace myself as I meet a great person. Okay, cool. We had a great time. Now for the rest of the 6 days of the week, I'm going to go off and do my own thing. And then maybe we'll meet in a week. And then maybe we'll meet every week for the first few months. And then maybe if we like that, we're going to like, you know, get them more frequent. Yeah. A very wise person pointed that out to me just a week ago. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's why I shrink in relationships, is because I ditch all of me to go and hurriedly stuff all of them in my life.
Yeah.
Is that something that you have experienced or that you see yourself in a regular way?
So I see it with coaching clients, and you can see how people do put all of their needs aside and instantly then kind of want to do all the things that their partner wants to do, or this disconnection with kind of who they are and what they are, what are they actually about? What do they stand for? So I think that can be really, really tricky for people to really understand themselves at a deeper, kind of more spiritual level. Absolutely.
Yeah. So what are some antidotes to shrinking? How do you prevent shrinking? As a physician, I'm like, what's our vitamin D bisphosphonate medication to prevent osteoporotic compression fractures that cause us to lose height?
We haven't lost the doctor in the house.
No. My very, very good friend, she keeps updating me. So she lives in a northern territory in Canada, and they made this very funny campaign for vitamin D called Do the D. But everyone was like, oh my God, do the D. That's so sexual innuendo. So it keeps rolling every year. This like, do the D, everybody, do the D. Anyways, so what's the equivalent of doing the D when it comes to preventing shrinking?
I think it is. So the thing that really comes to mind for me is kind of be loud and proud about who you are as a person, and not to the point where you're kind of obnoxious. But continue to be curious about who you are as a person and discover new things about yourself. So just the way that you were kind of saying before, and continue to do some of those practices of the things that you really enjoyed doing before you became a couple.
Yeah.
Continue to have discussions about things that you have completely separate views on. So it can be really easy to go, I'm not bringing that topic up, because we always end up having a kind of debate, or it gets a bit too heated, or I know that that's a touchy subject, so we're not going to talk about it. But, there's some of the things that we have kind of natural differences. We generally, if you really kind of sat down and looked at all the views that you've got together on life, there wouldn't be kind of, amazing crossover in every single area. You're going to have differences, even if they're down to kind of some of the more minutiae details. You're going to have differences, and it's quite fun to just carry on exploring some of those things.
Oh, totally. Oh my gosh. I realized that I really love dancing, and dancing is something that I put on the shelf for the better part of 2 decades. So, and this is really, it just kind of occurred to me. I was like, I'm going to sign up for Argentine tango to start immediately after I get back from Toronto. I know I don't have a partner. I'm just going to show up, and I'm going to learn how to dance, and I'm going to learn how to dance for me. Yeah. Yeah. That's like putting a color on the blank slate.
Yeah, but it's exploring kind of what are some new things that I want to try out. What, I think it's quite easy to try and keep the peace, but don't stop doing some of the things that you want to do. If your partner isn't interested, then that's fine. You can still explore some of these things by yourself.
We must explore by ourselves. Yeah, totally. Is there something that you like? What is the thing that you really hold on to in terms of something that really differentiates you? Could be an action or a activity that you do.
Oh, so what's something that you enjoy doing? Like, just that you enjoy doing.
Yeah.
So, like, I really love yoga, and I know that my partner's just not that into it. And every so often I'll say, "Oh, you should do a bit of yoga with me." And he's like, "No, I'm not really interested."
Oh,
so
interesting.
He will like to go and explore something different. So he will go off and do the things that he wants to do. I'll go off and do the things that I want to do. And then you can come back together and you talk about your experiences that you've had separately. It's quite nice.
Interesting. Yeah, that's wonderful.
I think the other thing I'd say as well is never stop sharing who you are. Never stop, like don't stop giving opinions about things. If you're asked, what type of restaurant do you fancy this week? Share that. Don't, say, I don't mind, you choose. Don't kind of stop just offering an opinion.
Oh, yes.
Because I think, as soon as we kind of, you're almost silencing yourself in that situation. If your answer is always, I don't mind, you choose whatever you pick. I'm indifferent. I can't believe that every single time you're asked something that you feel indifferent about it. That's just, I don't think that could be possible. And if you do, then, maybe it is time to kind of explore and say, well, do you know what? I genuinely don't know what I fancy or what my favourite type is. Let's try a new thing every week and see which one I like best.
Oh, I like that challenge. Yes. A city of Toronto is so great for that because it's just like so abundant with so many different cuisine choices. So you could literally spend 365 days and have somewhere new, totally new to experience. Yeah. Yep. And for others, there's the internet, new recipes.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
All right. Stay loud and proud.
Loud and proud.
Shall we switch to a question?
Let's go.
Question. My boyfriend wants me to split the bills 50-50. He spends loads of money on his hobbies and money's really tight for me. I do nearly all of the chores at home and I don't feel like this is fair. That little conundrum.
Okay.
So I think there's two of the trickiest negotiable things in a relationship there. Like, who does what
time
proportion?
And money.
Yeah. Who does what proportion of the chores and how do we split the bills? Like,
oh my God.
They are two real tricky subjects to navigate and negotiate. And again, this, if we go back to that kind of the hot topic in shrinking any relationship, as soon as you kind of say, that's fine, I'll just accept it, whatever, and I'm not going to offer an opinion as to why I think that choice or that path isn't the right path, then I'm instantly kind of giving away something that I could later come to resent.
Oh my gosh. Totally. Because there was a time when you were like, oh, okay, sure, I'm easy. Totally.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's huge perception differences here about what's important and what is valued, right? Like the value of things is obviously distorted. And like we usually say, it's not likely that they've actually had a productive conversation around this ever.
Yeah.
So what do you think is going on with a boyfriend? He spends a lot of money on his hobbies, but he's like, I expect us to have parity in terms of splitting the bills. So what do you gather is going on his side of the fence?
Well, because everyone kind of wants their version of fairness in life. So for him, maybe that feels like the fairest choice. We're both in this together. It feels like we should both pay our way. Maybe kind of that's always been his philosophy.
Yeah.
So we're always kind of looking for, and, maybe he's spent a long time getting to where he wanted to be and to earn the salary that he wanted to earn. And now he's choosing to then pursue hobbies that, he wants to use his surplus funds for.
Mm-hmm. So then on the flip side, though, there is this thing about unpaid labor or unvalued labor that the person asking the question is doing a lot of, right?
Yeah.
And that is a very common theme, is that especially if women stay home or men, the stay-at-home parent is often doing a lot of the chores, and we forget to put dollar figures to that. Like, if somebody's cleaning up around the house, how much would you have to pay a housekeeper to come in every day? Hundreds of dollars a day, right?
One question I'd ask, though, to get to the root of this problem is, if your partner took equal share of the chores, would that make a difference to you? Because I'm curious about which one is the biggest issue, the money or the division of chores.
Okay. Very nice. And you can't tell from the way the question is phrased.
You can't tell, but I have a suspicion that it's the money side of it that is the biggest challenge, would be my intuition.
Okay. Well, it could be the person asking is like, well, but I do it anyways, but I money is tight. I think, okay, and fair enough, because I think what they're saying is like, my boyfriend should know that money is tight for me.
Yeah.
And yet he's asking me to pay 50-50 and he has more money, or at least that's the perception. So why is he being cruel and he's overstepping my needs? Okay.
So there's she equally feels like there's an inequality in this relationship. And the chores could be part of it. There could be a big deal. There might not be. but they're certainly mentioned in the question. But I think the financial side is the side, we place a lot of emphasis on money, don't we? And worth, and money can feel very hard to come by. And especially the time that we're living in now, where costs have risen. And so if maybe you've just had a massive increase in your rent or your mortgage, or we all know food bills are going up. And if I'm already kind of squeezed and I'm still being asked to contribute 50% of that then can create an even trickier time than you would have had, say, 12 months ago or 2 years ago.
Yeah. There's the absolute pinch, but there's also the relative. So we always talk about this, the relative philosophies about money. Is there a scarcity mindset because of how you were raised, how your parents were raised? Are you somebody who views money as hard to come by? Are you somebody who feels like they're irresponsible with money? Your relationship to money is a huge underlying factor. And it's often, most of the time, not based on reality. Yeah. They're assumptions and beliefs and interpretations. Yeah. So how would you suggest that these two people start talking about these two firebrand topics in a relationship?
Well, yeah, and it's really, really difficult, isn't it? I think there is a certain amount of honesty, I think, but with that can come a certain amount of kind of shame or embarrassment as well. So if I'm having to say to somebody, look, I know that your view is that we should split the bill 50-50, but, do you realise that means that I'll have nothing in my bank account, or even worse, I'll be in kind of negative territory every month if we go down this route. I know that you earn more than me, or you have more disposable income than me. Is there a way that we could look at this in, that sort of just feels a little bit fairer? But it can be very difficult to raise that topic because we are kind of, we're told regularly, aren't we, about kind of independence and stand on your own two feet. Like we hear that a lot now, and it's not the same as kind of maybe a few generations ago where you didn't have two people out in a family working. You literally had one person wage coming in, and they all just went in the pot, and you divided it and spent it on and cut your cloth accordingly. And it can be difficult, I think, as well, because if you're living with somebody, how do you, and money isn't a challenge for them the same way that it is for you, when it comes to making some of those financial decisions about, holidays, or whether you put the central heating on or not, or whether you go out for dinner. All of these things become, one party can think something completely different because it's less of an issue for them. If the other party's then struggling, then some of those decisions become quite tricky, and we do link our worth to financial income and how much money we've got to spend.
Oh, it's the same as friendships. Coaching somebody who hasn't been invited to go to be part of a bridal party, but the bride is making these really outlandish decisions in terms of venues for all the pre-parties that are, it's going to be thousands of dollars per bridesmaid to attend. And so it is so important to have upfront conversations about what you can afford and what you can't afford. Yeah. Rather than feeling like you need to go along with the flow of whatever your partner or your friend is spending, because that'll just breed resentment and you'll lose a friend. Like that's why bridezilla kind of things happen and bridesmaids fall out with a bride. But if we have these conversations up front and say, look, I hate to say it, I don't have that money to, so either, maybe I can kind of bow out of some of the non-essential parties, or maybe I might not be the best person to support you in the bridal party, but I can certainly support you as a non-party friend. Yeah.
But these are, in relationships, these are the things that we need to try and address early doors, because if we've got completely different views about money and how we earn it, how we spend it, the value and importance that we place on it, that's really going to kind of get you into hot water at some point further down the line if you've got vastly different views. I think there's also an element of support in each other. So do I genuinely want to be in a partnership where somebody knowingly puts me in a situation where I feel financially vulnerable? Is that something I'm happy with, would be a question.
You've got it.
Do we want, a situation where we can support each other through tough times and then the times of abundance? Because throughout life we'll face some of those challenges. So, often, for women having babies, then they have to take maternity leave that may or may not be paid or subsidised in some way. How do we support each other through some of those things? If as a partner you get made redundant and you don't have an income coming in for a little while, how do we support each other through some of those challenges? If we decide, actually, do you know what? Say one person has a windfall, what happens there? Like, how do they then kind of handle that situation? Are we okay to treat each other when one person's feeling a bit more flushed than the other person? Can we accept that graciously?
Yeah. And give it graciously as well.
Yeah, exactly. There's a whole host of stuff around financials that this is a great time, kind of early doors, to say, do you know what? This has come up, but this is a great discussion point to get to know each other a bit more and to understand what some of our views are around some of these situations. How do we deal with them? How do we handle them?
Oh my gosh, yes. Yes, and as always, the wrong answer is bury your head in the sand and just to go along with it. Don't be contrarian and just kick the can down the road and hope it doesn't make a difference in the future, because, spoiler alert, it will.
I think if this is a big enough thing that you've actually written a question about it, it's obviously something that's playing on your mind. And then that's not really good for us kind of mentally if we've got some of these challenging situations just kind of ticking over all the time and not resolved, because the story train will start and eventually, it leads to that kind of worthlessness and some of the other kind of more negative emotions that we can have internally.
Yeah, that's so true.
And I often think you'll be surprised by the conversation as well. We're often surprised by the results that come back when we tackle some of these trickier subjects.
And the thing is, and you walk into these conversations thinking of yourself as the protagonist and the other person who's wrong. And remember, they will surprise you. So what if this boyfriend comes back saying, well, you're the one running the air conditioner in the summer. I would prefer to run the fan. So our electricity bill is 3 times what it should be. I resent the fact that you're expecting me to pay, but you're actually burning up electricity as if money grew on trees. So so be prepared to get some hard stuff back. Like, if you guys are being honest, you might get your butt kicked, and that's a good thing. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, this is good stuff. Okay. So like always, communication.
A little chit chat. See how it goes.
A little chit chat. See how it goes.
Yeah.
Oh, what's the analogy to? I'm just thinking about when we said, like, how do you sort of spice up your love life? Like, just get naked in bed together and see what happens.
Yes.
So it's kind of like this. It's like, just like, hey, let's just schedule a chat. Might be over a nice glass of wine. Might be a toke of your favorite newly legalized drug. Whatever it takes to sort of get you guys in the frame of mind where you can be open and share and just see what comes up. With a few ground rules, the same thing, right? Like, maintain curiosity, let people finish their sentences, listen deeply, and don't be jumping all over to defend or to shut them down. Those things.
Stay open as possible. Yeah. And often you can find a solution together.
Yeah. See, you're connected. That is your style.
I am connected.
With a touch of romance.
I'm so unromantic.
Oh, so funny. But connected, I maintain connectedness is romantic, so it fits. It's on brand, Sarah.
We'll go with that.
Yeah. So we're sending good vibes to those people who are enjoying Valentine's Day, and we'll catch you all on the other side of that day. But hopefully, people say it's cheesy, but it is a day that honors love.
It is. And whatever you choose to do, honor love from yourself and each other.
Oh, yeah. Beautiful.
Alrighty. So you're going to be loved up still in Athens, and then you are traveling this week then?
Yeah. Coming on back Sunday morning. So when I record, I will be jet lagged back in Toronto. I'll be excited to be back, though. It'll be great.
Okay.
Yeah.
It feels like it's gone really quick.
Oh my God. I wonder though, like, will I become a block of feta cheese? Like, if I stuck around here any longer, I don't know. It's just saved in the nick of time from becoming the delicious food that I've just been binging upon.
Well, I must have been channeling your inner Greek because we made some lovely Greek salad with feta and some chicken kebabs, some lovely Greek chicken kebabs and pita breads this week. And it was super tasty.
Ooh.
So yeah, I could
We're vibing the Mediterranean.
Cows come home.
I know. Oh man, that's amazing. Oh, beautiful.
Now, speaking of my love of food, I'm going to go and get my dinner sorted.
Beautiful. Bon appetit.
As always, as we are at that time of the day.
Yep. It is that time of day.
It is indeed.
Yeah.
Well, I hope you enjoy your last tourism spots of Greece and make the most of it.
Indeed.
Have a nice, safe travels back.
Oh, thank you. I'll see you guys on the other side.
Alrighty. Till next time. So that's it for another week of Geordie Lass and Doc Sass. We hope you've enjoyed listening as much as we've enjoyed chatting. Get in touch and share your questions for relationship remedies and any hot topics you want us to cover. If you need help in navigating all things relationships, Anna and Sara are available for one-on-one coaching support. Email info@geordielass.com. Please remember to like, share, subscribe if you've enjoyed listening. And if you've not, how on earth have you made it this far? I promise we'll try harder next time.